So it's been 12 years since we've had a Star Trek show on TV.
12 years. 12 long years.
Yes.
Thanks to Netflix, though, it kind of helps, and Hulu, it kind of softens that because you can go back and rewatch. But yeah, I mean, to not have new content, it's been too long.
Luckily, we've had the JJ movies to kind of help that missing element of television, which is where Trek started.
Right.
So it's very, very important and historical for the show. Finally, after all these delays, Discovery's finally here. Finally. I can't believe it. It's great. I'd like to welcome everyone to episode 1 here. This is Star Trek Discovery Mission Report. I'm Josh.
I'm Steve.
What's been going through your mind since, during the whole time of Discovery's development?
So during the development, I was just getting really amped because I think Star Trek, it needs TV. I think one reason the JJ verse maybe didn't take off as much. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I think I could have enjoyed it more if it was like the other Star Treks that had movies, that it had a centerpiece of a TV show around it to expand more on what that universe has.
Right.
The JJ verse didn't have that. And, which, again, I did like it. I mean, Pine's version of Kirk, dead on, just amazing. Scotty, though. I mean, they really killed it, doing a great job with the characters. But I think not having that presence, just kind of makes it look more like a one-off. Right. And now with Discovery coming back, all I've kept thinking about is, we finally have an episodic Star Trek back in the house to build some lore. They don't have to rush through a story in 2 hours. Boom, they can just do it and have fun with it. And man, so far so good.
Yeah. It's very exciting. Yeah, I feel the same way. I was just I was giddy with all the images we got.
Oh,
and
man.
The casting announcements. I was just so ready for this show. The delays really, hurt.
Yeah.
Because I was like, is this ever going to happen?
Oh, yeah. And you start questioning that.
Yeah. And you get the negative press and all that. But, we lost Brian Fuller as showrunner during the whole delay process. But luckily, at least the first, I think 3 episodes are written by him. So the vision is set pretty much. So
we'll see how it pans out.
Right.
But boy, I think, in the upcoming on season, or episode 4.
Yes.
I didn't see anything in there that made me think, oh man, this looks really different or something's going on. Yeah. It looks like we're following that path very well. So hopefully that continues.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Steve and I are huge Star Trek fans. So,
oh boy, it's ugly.
Yeah. The minute the premiere was announced, we couldn't wait to get together and decided we should do this show.
Oh, yeah.
To talk about Discovery. It's the perfect opportunity to take episode by episode and just, review and discuss things, maybe Easter eggs we find.
Yeah.
Which I have found quite a few without looking too hard.
Yeah.
So this show will be about the first 3 episodes,
right? Which
is like a great happy accident, really, because we didn't get to Discovery itself until episode 3. So,
the die is cast, so it's easier to kind of talk about this, and then we're going to take it one by one and have some fun with it.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait. It's very exciting.
And it's funny because, Star Trek's just so huge for me, and someone at work today was, they made fun of Star Wars. And I'm like, hey, settle down. That's not even cool talk, because I love Star Wars.
Keep the peace.
But if they would have done that to Star Trek... Oh, yeah. I'm not sure they would have had both of their arms afterwards. I'll defend Star Wars.
Yeah.
Don't talk about Star Trek.
Be a few attempts at the Vulcan nerve.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like Star Trek was my first love. I love Star Wars, and I'm all for the new Star Wars stuff. But yeah, I take it a little bit more serious when people, dig up my Star Trek.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's where I draw the line.
Right.
This show is unique for many reasons. It's first female-led show. Mm-hmm. It's a serialized story, which is very new to this whole.
Yeah.
It's still episodic, but it's also
it keeps going.
In motion. Yes.
Yeah. There's a continuing plot line and thread through the whole deal, which is awesome.
And I think Enterprise worked. All the shows before have had arcs. Maybe not TOS, but the other ones, I think, have had arcs here and there.
And I think Deep Space Nine was the closest to following an overall story while still having some fun. And,
exactly.
I mean, they weren't as strict with it as I think, Discovery will be. But that was the first one where you saw, I mean, Voyager wanted to go home. You knew that. But then everything else was just one-off. Right. And, but with, Deep Space Nine, it was a Cardassian conflict and the Dominion. And all that was always lurking in the background. Right.
Yeah, you're right. Just a lot of ideas were brought about. And
absolutely. And so that was pretty neat. And so to see Discovery picking up on that and taking it a step further.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, and this has a lot in common with TNG, being that it's been a long time since it's been on television.
Right.
So, even though DS9, Voyager, and Enterprise, they had to make their shows work. They had to be successful. They still were able to have a nice lead in.
Right.
So, this is very close to TNG. Unfortunately, I was too young at the time to really know what was all going on. Yeah. I just kind of went into TNG.
Yeah.
I was introduced to it by friends and just loved it. This show shares a lot of that. And I'm sure I am now feeling a lot of the same feelings you had back then. Because, a lot was on the line.
Yeah, a ton.
A lot. So,
and especially being a fan of the original series, obviously I was not, contrary to popular belief, alive during the original series. Close, but not quite.
Yeah.
But in the 70s, they were on in syndication all the time. You know, and I watched. Some of my earliest memories are watching Star Trek with my dad and my brother. And so when the Next Generation came around, I was one of those skeptics. Who's this bald dude, and you
had a right to be.
Right, you know, but they proved it. They proved it tenfold, it was awesome.
I think a lot of people thought it was maybe a reboot.
Right.
And they were like, how dare you?
Right, yeah.
So, like, a Next Generation type storyline does not bother me,
Yeah, it was awesome, though. And, I watched it for a few episodes, and I was sold.
Yeah.
It was cool.
One of the benefits of this show is it's got a high budget.
Uh-huh.
It's like a lot of money's put into it. Lot. It's very cinematic looking.
Right.
It's not really cheap effects or anything.
Yeah, you're watching a 45-minute movie almost every single episode.
Very top notch. Yeah, it's very good. So that being said, comes into play CBS All Access.
Right.
This is the first Star Trek show, which, they just showed one episode on CBS, and then the rest of it's on this streaming network.
Yeah, it's online. It's a gamble.
It is.
It's a huge gamble, and I don't know what CBS's numbers are for subscribers and all that stuff, but my only concern is is it going to be enough to maintain the quality that we've seen thus far? Because it's a visually incredible show.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and, you can always tell the difference when a show loses budget.
Yeah.
I'd hate to see Discovery suffer that.
Yeah.
Just because it's been remarkable to look at.
Yes.
I mean, come on. Effects, sets, design, alien design. I mean, this has Emmy smell all over it for visual.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, come on, pretty sweet.
And the acting's really good, and
right. But CBS All Access. I mean, I have to say it's it's affordable. So many people are cutting the cord on cable anymore, and it's what's $10.99 for the ad-free version.
Yes.
Of it. I can't do ads. I'm just, at my advanced years, I only have so long to enjoy shows.
Yeah.
So, but, it's got a lot. It doesn't have all of the CBS library, but it has a lot, and if you like old shows and, some of the newer stuff, I mean, they've got a ton to choose from and to watch.
Sure.
From classic all the way to current. And, I think, by and large, it's going to be worth the money. I mean, both my wife and daughter have already started watching stuff on it. So they're jumping in. They like it, and it's a pretty neat service.
Yeah, there's movies on there.
Yeah, movies too.
I was surprised. I thought it was just CBS related things, but yeah, they got some movies on there, and I think all the Star Trek series.
Every Star
on
Trek, including the animated series, which. Retrospect is so good.
Yeah, because they could do more with animation. They could
do more with the animation. The voice work isn't maybe quite as emotive as I'd like it to be.
Yeah.
But at least it's still the originals and,
Yeah. I think everyone's on there except Chekhov.
Chekhov, I think, is the only one that wasn't.
Yeah.
And I think the best voice work was Leonard Nimoy.
Oh, of course, yeah.
He still just sounded perfect in his character.
Yeah.
And, Shatner, I think, kind of phoned it in a little bit here and there, but, I mean, it was still cool.
He's like, can I get my check?
I know, right? We need my check.
We didn't yell cut yet, William. Bill.
Sleeping out in his van.
Yeah, it's camper. And you can also get the $5.99 version, which is with commercials. Yep. I did sample that for the free trial, which you get a week's worth for that price. It's not terrible, but
it's up to your preference, I guess. It
helps me get into the show if it just keeps going. I'm just too used to that Netflix setup.
Right, Netflix and Hulu I know has an ad version as well, but those platforms do spoil you rotten. When you don't have to watch an ad.
Like, let's go for it. Let's pay a little extra. It's okay. It's really, really worth it, I think. Just sign up for the $9.99 version. Loving the commercial free. And, with the movies and other TV shows, this also offers a after Trek show, which is like, for those who know The Walking Dead, there's a Talking Dead show that comes right after, and they recap the show, and they even have actors from the show come on as guests, and they'll do like Q&As and all that. Pretty much the same format. Gorgeous set they're on. They have this beautiful Star Trek table they made. Matt Myra hosts it, he's a very talented writer, producer, podcaster.
Oh, cool.
And a massive Star Trek fan. Just from hearing him out there talk about Star Trek, he even has a podcast himself about the Next Generation. They go episode by episode. I was anxious to see what, he had to say about it.
Sure.
And luckily, I didn't realize he was hosting this After Trek show. So I was like, I know what he's saying about it.
Bonus, yeah.
But it's fun. It's a great show.
And I haven't caught one of those yet. So, I'm going to have to catch up on that because, it looks cool.
They'll take you behind the scenes, Q&A, sneak peeks to the next episode, trivia.
Oh, sweet.
It is really a fun show.
Nice.
So, I can't recommend All Access enough. I think it's definitely worth the service. Like Steve said, people are cutting cable now. Like, this is good. You can watch you can watch Big Bang Theory if you like that show. All CBS stuff. Even the evening news if you want to watch that.
60 Minutes, and it says something like, season 50 or something crazy.
I wonder if you can go back to the first season.
Right, I know. I told Jennifer, I'm like, do you want to watch season 2, episode 3 of 60 Minutes? I'm really, I missed that one.
Yeah. It's like, man, this digital quality is just not right. For those in the UK, you're lucky you can actually watch this on Netflix.
Yeah.
So I do hope, and so far, I think the subscription to CBS All Access is up. Right. So that's great.
Yeah.
But I hope that if Star Trek doesn't do the numbers like they want, maybe a backup plan would go to Netflix. Keep the budget, though.
I would hope so.
Don't cut that budget.
Yeah.
So I think now, for those who are hooked, which I think you and I are, we expect that now, and I really hate to lose that.
Right.
But, it'd still be a good show, but these effects, we'll get into it here.
Unreal.
So we're not sponsored by them or anything.
No, we're not.
We want you to see this show.
We're making $0 on this, but it is worth it, and as an octogenarian, it's got the old school Hawaii 5-0 on there, and I love that.
There you go.
I've already watched a bunch of those.
Awesome. Well, I think we're probably ready to dive in.
Yeah.
Episode 1 here, the Vulcan Hello.
Right.
What are your first thoughts?
So watching it, I was just blown away, of course, from the visual aspect of it, and it was, now, that said, I liked it. I wasn't yet quite sold on if I loved it or not. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a cool introduction to some of the characters. The alien, is it Syrah? What's his name?
Your guess is better than mine.
I can't get IMDb
it's
down
a Klingon name.
Well, no, the tall alien on the ship.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Syrah.
Yeah.
I think.
So anyway, I thought he was fascinating, and very cool. And of course, obviously, the visuals were just incredible. Some people are talking about the Klingons and maybe, how that might be a little overboard. I don't know. That was the only other problem I had with it. And it wasn't their look. It was the language. Mm-hmm. A little bit. Was just, it was a lot.
It was.
And, I think that language is best when it's really enunciated well. Worf did it amazingly, Michael Dorn. And, we saw that with a lot of different actors that played Klingons over the years. And the main guy, I wish I knew his name, fascinating character and stuff. But it just seemed like he had cotton in the back of his mouth sometimes, and
yeah,
he just
I get that.
It was hard to understand the actual. Now this is how nerdy it gets. When you feel like the Klingon language isn't quite as articulate as it should be, maybe you need to just relax. And so that's probably where I'm at. I just need to settle down a little bit.
Well, I mean, it did help. I mean, initially it was kind of a hard experience because so much reading and you can't really watch what's going on at the same time.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping they would pull like a Hunt for Red October. They do a transition to English, something just, Oh, he does have after lots of dialogue, he has that one line, "We come in peace," and maybe that was a segue to English.
Yeah, maybe.
But I mean, I get it.
It's a long time getting there.
Right. It's written well, and the delivery was pretty well. I do like the look too.
Uh-huh.
I hope they're able to kind of maybe explain. I can't imagine Worf looking like that if that's what they're trying to do. Change the whole entire look.
Right.
I think the Klingons. They've been through a lot of changes.
Tons. A lot, actually. And, it's I don't have a problem suspending that stuff to, invite new change. And I thought what was really interesting was, it was almost a different races of Klingons.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of thrown in there, too. And so I thought that was a pretty sweet touch. In a whole hierarchy. And it was just, the Klingon ship itself was
very
sweet and interesting. And, I mean, the costumes the Klingons were genuinely pretty badass, and so that was cool too.
And this main Klingon, I think he has a will to show that he's worthy,
right?
Because it looks like, well, I don't know if he had parents or, well, actually he did.
Yeah,
his father had that ship, I think, and
it was his father's ship before, and
And as a child, he found it and just gradually restored it, but he got his ass kicked quite a bit from other Klingons, so he was picked on, you know, and I think he's just out to prove himself, and maybe the people on his ship are kind of all in the same boat, maybe.
Outcasts, that sort of thing,
It is interesting because you do have like that albino Klingon, so it's like very on the nose of race, relations within a race, which is, actually Klingons have never really, I don't think, have tried that before. I mean, they've tried it with like certain houses they're from,
but they never went that far with it, and I thought that was actually pretty cool.
It was.
I thought that was pretty inviting.
It was very cool. So after we get that big speech, we get into the credits, which are really cool. I think no song,
right?
And I like the visuals. It was weird seeing the Discovery so much, not seeing it in the show.
Yeah,
but I dug the theme. I thought it was pretty good. No singing, no Enterprise. I'm sorry.
Yay!
It's been a long.
I know.
But I think they tackled it pretty well. And then we get to see Sonequa Martin Green, who plays First Officer number 1, Michael Burnham, and Michelle Yeoh, Captain Giorgio.
Yeah, right. And she was awesome.
Yeah,
very, very great. And she's great in anything she's ever done, really, in my opinion. She can't do a lot of wrong, but
I was very anxious when she was cast. I thought that was great.
That was
great
awesome,
choice.
And that scene with them in the desert and stuff. I mean, that was just really. It was cool character development.
Yeah,
that piece, especially introducing those characters that way. Because if I do have a complaint, it's just that I would have liked to have known a little bit more about these guys before they were really thrust in. But at the same time,
right.
That's not always easy to do, and then when you have 15 episodes to do what you want to do, you got to get moving. Exactly. The visuals on the planet alone when they were there, and then getting picked up and the whole deal. I mean, it was awesome.
Well, it's a casual introduction, like maybe aside from TOS, all the other shows had the formal introduction where you get the band together and you go out in space, and so this is very different. I guess you could say episode 3 is that introduction.
It really is. But
this is a unique way to see Michael Burnham, who's going to be the main character. I like how they were saving that species on the desert planet, which is very Star Trek. And they said they weren't trying to make first contact. They just wanted to get in and get out.
Yeah.
And they basically helped their well. They were going to it was dried up and they were going to die. It was like insect-like creatures, which I'm kind of glad we didn't explore too much.
They were pretty creepy.
I was like, we can have some J.J. Abrams jump scenes with monsters and stuff, but
and just huge bed bugs running around.
Yeah, I just gasped when the ship landed on the planet.
Yeah,
and it just I was like, man, that's beautiful. Like,
awesome.
Wow. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I probably would have had a tear in my eye if I was, not so honor or warrior like
and manly. Right. Agreed. Right. Totally.
Right. With my beer.
No.
Yeah. Root beer. No, but it was, oh man, just a minute. I seriously had my jaw dropped, and my wife, I don't think she was paying attention.
Yeah.
She probably would have thought I was nuts. But yeah.
It was great.
It was
just cinematically amazing. And yeah, if you're a huge Star Trek fan, it's like, it's back, you know, and
I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's great.
And it looks great. I mean, it's never looked this good. Ships have never really been able to come down on a planet. I think Voyager, they did that, but nothing like this. This is so
the
new.
effects are just incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I don't know if it bothers you too much. A lot of people are, a lot of people who, not too kind to the show. They say it's got a lot of J.J. Abrams influence with the lens flares, things like that. Did those bother you at all?
It doesn't bother me in any way, shape, or form.
There were some, but
yeah,
I think, I know people hate the lens flares, but honestly, I for at least the 09 movie, it's very effective to me. Like it felt like it was an experience, and I was really somewhere else. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, I don't think it's... I think people make a little bit too much out of it.
Yeah.
You can notice it. And, then when you hear people harp on it, it's more noticeable.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it doesn't visually bother me either.
No.
It's not like The Matrix where, the first movie was just insanely amazing. And then, in my opinion, some of the effects just got worse as the movies went on, in a few spots.
They tried really hard.
And there was a lot of ones and zeros.
Like,
and
just tame it down.
Just, settle down, 800 Keanu Reeves. But it was, or Agent Smiths, I mean.
Yeah. Both, actually.
Yeah. But, so, it was, that stuff doesn't bother me at all, and...
No. you can overdo it.
You can, but I didn't feel like that.
No, I didn't either.
I didn't walk away from all 3 episodes thinking, oh man, that goddamn lens flare,
Right.
I never thought that at all.
Well, and then where they were in space, you had a sun, and I think that played a part in all of that. And this ship it's very unique looking. It's not totally like different from what we've seen before. Mm-hmm. It kind of looks like Archer's ship upside down in a way,
a little bit
more bulky, but it's got paint on it, like red paint.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you thought about that. Did that bother you?
No, not at all.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
No,
it was a nice touch.
I think that you have to give allowances for interpretation and visuals, and sometimes it's a risk upgrading, and you'll have purists out there that if you're not in a standard silver starship that has a sleek, smooth look, then this ain't Star Trek. This doesn't have a sleek, smooth look, though the effects are amazing. Right. And the insides of the ships are very nice and bright and shiny and cool looking. But the ships themselves, they look like, hey, we're a newer, Federation out here.
Right.
And we're in our infancy, and, things are just starting to get cool.
Well, and, as a Star Trek fan, they have not touched on everything. There's still a lot of vagueness out there. We haven't seen lots of ships. I really get tired of this scenario. Like, the Enterprise is the only thing that can help us. Right. It's like, you're a fleet. Where's the other ships? Right. But I love this ship. I thought it was really nice to add to the whole line of ships that we've come to know. And I like the reveal of the ship on the outside, and I like the zoom in to the bridge. Right. And the bridge is, its screen is actually like a window.
Yeah.
Like, actually, it goes clear back to the Cage pilot. I think that's what that was. It wasn't really a screen, it was a window.
Right.
And of course the Abrams movies did a great job with that. They really made you feel you're on a ship, because you could see the top of the ship. I don't think in this show you could see the top of the ship, but you still could see like when the ship would maneuver, turn, and it was just really cool how they did all that. And they really showed off what it could do, like when they were adjusting to get a signal. and the controls and everything. But the interior of the ship and its crew, what'd you think of all that?
I loved it too, and that's another thing that, well, if this is before the original series, I'm sorry, I'm not going to watch in 2017 pastel colored walls and 70s shag all over someone's crew quarters, but no, I mean, it still felt like Star Trek to me, you know, and even though it is updated and it's very much more sleek and smooth, I don't think anyone wants to go back to old graphics. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I'm perfectly acceptable with, just how cool and futuristic all this looks. Yeah. It was awesome. From the holograms to the whole thing. I mean, it's stuff the old shows didn't do, even the Next Gen, and all that. It was slick.
Oddly enough, Next Gen still seems futuristic to me. I don't know why. With all the, because they had that. They were the first ones to have like touch screens and all that stuff, and they weren't like what we have. I think that's how we can relate to Discovery. Right. It's very similar tech, but TNG, I mean, it still worked for me. That's the future, TOS, maybe not so much, but
I just enjoy the old, the nostalgia of that.
Yeah, I think that's also what they're doing is they're keeping the stories intact, but the visuals are changing up, which, I mean, you have to, like you said. I mean, it's just, right now in the tech age, you got to have really cool things. You can't just have switches and lack
You
of,
need eye candy,
visuals.
Especially if you're going to spend that much money on a show.
What do you think of the uniforms? How they were, the color and everything to them?
Very Enterprise. Yeah. In its own kind of take on it a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I liked that little bit of continuity there. That there was still recognizable as a Star Trek uniform, and you don't look at it and it's just something new completely. Right. So I mean, I feel like there's still, while they're introducing all this new cool stuff, there's still a string of consistency there that you look at it and it's pretty slick.
Yeah, and I love the badge. Yeah, it's got like an indent into it. Like they really did something new with it, which is really
it's way more 3D really cool. Than looks like something that might have been sewn on in 1968. So
and the rankings actually like punched into it.
Right,
I really dug that. Saru, let's talk about him. I know we talked a little bit about him a few minutes ago. Doug Jones. Yeah, man, he can not only be a creature, but he can certainly act. I think he's showing off so much of his acting chops in this show.
It's funny how sometimes in Star Trek, the aliens can steal the show from an acting perspective, because you have to rely a lot on makeup and effects and all that sort of stuff. But
and he's good at that.
Yeah, he's so good at it, and he was awesome. You know? I mean, I think he's the kind of the breakout alien character for sure, in my opinion, at least so far. Yeah. But he looks like he's 19 feet tall next to everybody else. I mean, I'm sure he's a taller character. Yeah. But yeah, everybody was dwarfed compared to him. And
he has like hoof feet. Yeah. And he's 6'2", and with those, he's 6'8".
See, then there you go.
So and he got to help develop the makeup and effects, because originally they wanted him to have like really long fingers, and
really?
He was just saying it's gonna be very hard to do that, right? So they kind
of practicality and stuff.
They compromise, but
the face and the eye color, I mean, all that stuff's just sweet. Very emotive for an alien, with makeup and all that.
I see a nomination for sure. I mean, that's stellar makeup, and he actually makes the character work. It doesn't feel like he's not really able to convey much. Right. I mean, he's able to.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a plastic apparatus glued to his face.
You're right. And it's got some CG. I think there's CG enhancements, which are just a little subtle, and it's fine. Yeah. It's every time a species like him senses fear or conflict. Yeah, these like spike things come out of his neck or something, like gills. I don't know what you would say, but and he kind of makes a weird noise when he talks sometimes. Yeah. I mean, we'll pick up on it as we go, but I like that him and Michael, they have a little conflict, but they're also kind of jokey towards each other a little bit.
They have a mutual respect for sure, you can tell.
He's more stern though. I mean, he's
way more stern.
It's like, let me, the scientists, dictate what we're going to do here. Yeah. Got a good sense of the crew. And the captain, Michelle Yeoh, I think she plays it like kind of like a Janeway with a touch of Kirk, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit.
She's got a sense of humor, and Janeway did too. But she's kind of got that twinkle in the eye like Kirk had, and she's also her own character too. Just I think a comparison helps kind of where she fits in with all the other captains. Just really dug it, and the whole mystery of because they were fixing like a beacon, and they detected some object in the distance that may have had something to do with this beacon getting put out, destroyed. It wasn't destroyed, but they had to fix it. I liked how their sensors couldn't pick up because of the asteroid field or something.
Right,
they had to use a telescope.
Right.
That was really a nice touch, I thought.
Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, it's not something you just send out a probe and let them do it. I mean, and you get all the answers automatically and easily. I mean, I thought it was a cool touch too.
And maybe they didn't even have probes at this time. I have no idea.
I haven't seen one yet. So I mean, but that was always the answer in the Next Gen or Voyager and stuff. And
exactly.
Send out a probe to the wormhole. And,
right. The flyby. Let's talk about that. That was really Star Trek motion picture feeling when Spock goes into the great beyond, and it was really fun to see how anxious she was to do it, but also frightened.
Oh yeah,
you felt for her.
Oh yeah,
it was revving up, and
the whole thing, and
the flight suit is really slick.
Yeah, and everything can go wrong.
yeah,
and it was just it was visually sweet. I mean, you don't see that kind of stuff without just on the slight notion thinking, oh, that looks all right.
Yeah.
This looked amazing.
It did.
I couldn't tell. I couldn't pick one piece.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for the effects a lot. And I didn't see anything that, I kind of rolled my eyes at, or I just thought, But yeah, they killed it. And her, and that's got to be hard to convey, when you can only see your face and you're in that thing, and it's they just did a great job with it.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and she really does a good balance, I think, of because her character is raised by Vulcans. She's not Vulcan, but she does a great balance of acting like Vulcan, but also acting like
she's a human, acting
human,
And she acts exactly like a human who was raised by Vulcans.
Right.
She's still human.
Right.
But she has very many, she has a lot of Vulcan traits. And, and to be very clear, if someone's listening and they haven't seen the show, her name is Michael.
Yes. Yes. I should have cleared that. Yep.
Because I remember at first I'm thinking, is it Micah?
Yeah.
Am I hearing the L?
Yeah.
But so that was cool though. But yeah.
I wonder if they'll explain that. They kind of have, but they don't have to. It's just, it is different.
Yeah, it's different, but it was... And they referenced it in the third episode a little bit, and it was just kind of funny.
Yeah, it was funny. It was good. So yeah, she stumbles upon the object in the distance. It's, I believe it's the Klingon ship.
Yep.
And she comes face to face with a Klingon.
Yeah, she's looking. She's just walking on it, basically. Turns around, and there's a Klingon in his own space suit. Yeah. Looking way tougher than she did in hers.
Probably the first time we've seen a Klingon in a space suit.
Yeah, too. Yeah. And I mean, well, except for Worf on...
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, First Contact. Yeah.
But
in their own, and, right.
Yeah.
And, a very swift, short battle follows, a little hand-to-hand stuff. But that was amazing.
Oh, yeah. It was fantastic. And it was just great... cliffhanger. I mean, it didn't end the episode, but they couldn't get a hold of her.
Yeah.
She's just floating in space. And, next thing you know, she's, in this medical bay.
Yeah.
Cause they said that she could only be out there for 20 minutes and she got radiation burns. And so it was repairing her.
Yeah, and it showed her with burns all over.
Yeah, it didn't look too good.
They didn't. They weren't skimping on. She's totally in makeup and she looks great, but she's supposed to be sick. So let's pretend she is.
She's just coughing.
No, she looks screwed up, man.
She does. Yeah, and then the Vulcan in her, or just maybe probably the human in her. She just got out of it, and they're like, you're not done yet.
Yeah, she's pretty impetuous, so I think that she wasn't going to be stuck to a room.
Right. Let's talk about the holograms. We see her eventually, get herself together, dressed up and fixed. First she wanted to go to the bridge and let them know what happened because they had no idea. She's like, the Klingons are out there, and they're kind of doubting her, maybe. We see Michelle Yeoh's character talk to an admiral through a hologram.
Right.
He appears. Now, what would you think of that technology introduction?
I thought it was cool looking. The only thing, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong, and maybe you can help me with this one, but did he walk around a table that was in her bridge or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know. It was very...
That was the only one area from a effects perspective. The hologram looked cool.
Yeah, it did.
That all looked sweet and stuff, but I could just... And I'll go back and rewatch, and because I could totally be wrong, but I thought that as the hologram, he was avoiding structures on her bridge, and I'm like, dude, you're a hologram, you can walk through whatever you want to walk through. You know what I mean?
Right. Let's hope it was his bridge.
I hope it was, and it, you know what, it probably was.
Yeah.
You know, it probably was, but I just, I don't know if it was happening so fast, and I thought that maybe, but, and because it didn't hit me at the time. It hit me later as I was thinking about the hologram. I'm like, wait a minute, did he avoid something that he doesn't see, or, you know? So it was it was just interesting, but I do think the technology is sweet, and I think and I don't think it's a stretch either, and I don't have a problem with this show being set in its time frame utilizing this kind of stuff. I mean, you know, we're a society that since the 60s has made one or two advancements.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to assume that as we see this iteration of Star Trek, that, you know, we can apply more advances to that. And, you know, it just, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, you know, I liked it. I was kind of hesitant because I was thinking Star Wars has done this forever. And it's like kind of getting
Help me, Obi-Wan, you're my only hope.
Yeah. Honestly, I would have been just fine with a view screen, but maybe they'll get there. Who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe they find out the technology is harmful to people who use it.
Right,
I don't know.
yeah.
The Klingons engage the USS Shinzu.
Yeah, I think so.
Is that the ship?
Yeah.
I don't know if we've said that yet, but that's the ship.
For the first couple episodes, yeah.
Yeah, because after the conversation Michelle Yeoh's character had with the Admiral, the hologram version of the Admiral, they get into a back and forth because Michael contacted Sarek and wanted to know how the Vulcans dealt with Klingons in their first encounters. That does remind me to talk about the Sarek himself. What do you think of this interpretation? I know it wasn't probably a lot to go off on at first, but the actor and everything, what did you think?
I think the look was good. I think the way he presented himself was very Sarek-like. You know, I was sold on it. Yeah. And, you know, I loved, what was the guy who played Sarek? What was his name?
Oh, Martin Leonard? Mark
Leonard. So it was Mark Leonard. And, you know, I mean, I watched him. He was in the 60s show and he came all the way through and, you know, the whole deal. So it was we've had a lot of Sarek to go off of. Yes. You know, and so to see him in a quote unquote younger period, kind of as a mentor figure to Michael, I thought it was pretty brilliant. Yeah. And I thought the actor himself did an excellent job of portraying that without, he made you feel like it was a Vulcan. You know, this wasn't anything that you looked at and scoffed at because it's like, oh, there's this guy trying to be Sarek. Right. No, he nailed it. Yeah. 100%.
I think so too. I even think I dig him more than the J.J. Abrams Sarek. Right. We didn't get to see much of him, but this one looks better with the ears and everything. The other one in the movie had very small ears. It bothered me. Right. But this guy really, he looked the part. And honestly, I mean, I know it's fun to connect. It's a tricky thing to do. You know, Star Wars has suffered this where they're trying to connect the universe so much that they just overdo it. I don't think they did with Sarek, but I would have just been happy with another Vulcan like Sarek. You know, I don't think we had to have that, but it gets into something later, which is very unique and really a cool Easter egg. Yeah. I like how he told her the Vulcan hello is what they did. I don't know if he called it that, but they just attacked the Klingons.
Yeah, they fired on him.
Yeah. They thought that was an honorable thing.
Hey, nice to see you smack in the mouth. You know,
because I think they got their butts kicked the first time, probably killed. Yeah, and, they're like, well, what? They're Vulcans, logic. Right. Well, return violence with violence,
right? And it worked.
Yeah, exactly. So, Michael is just headstrong onto the Shinzu to deliver this message, and she ends up, I guess, becoming a mutineer.
Yeah.
Gives Captain the Vulcan nerve pinch, which I was like, holy crap, wow, this is a new territory here.
Yeah.
She storms out to the bridge and says, "Oh, Captain, I don't know what she said. She's
Put me in charge or whatever." Yeah.
And Suru is like immediately like, "No,
I don't think
wrong."
so. Right. Yeah.
He even said, "This is mutiny." Like, he knew what was happening.
He knew. He's no slouch.
And then just right when they were about ready to fire is when Michelle Yeoh came out. I don't know if it's because Michael's not a true Vulcan.
It didn't last as long or something, but she got up.
Yeah. She was pissed.
Oh, boy. She was unhappy.
Phasers on, stun, we think. I think she might have changed it to kill at one point. Yeah. That's the ending to the first episode is when I think the Klingons... Do they send out like a signal or something? Or a bright light?
A bright light. And then that was like the signal beacon type thing to the rest of the Empire. And it was kind of a question as to, would the other Klingon houses even respond to this?
Yeah.
Because they weren't sure about that. And then in the second episode, was it the end of the first?
End of the first, I think, is the light. And they're like, what the hell is that? And
second episode, everybody shows up.
Yeah.
Lots of Klingons.
Whole fleet of Klingons.
And I think her wanting to use the Vulcan hello, I get why she wanted to, but boy, was that a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't a regular Klingon that they were meeting.
Yeah.
They're meeting a fanatic who's trying to prove himself. They didn't have to do anything for it to be an act of war.
Right.
They were just there.
Exactly. And she ruined her relationship with the captain. And it's Starfleet. It's not, it's not the Vulcans. So it should have honored that. So we, get right into Battle at the Binary Stars, which is episode 2. We open with, I think the light, does it go off? Is that what finally happens? Yeah. And then the ships arrive.
And there's just a bunch of Klingon ships.
Right.
And they're big and they're huge and their design is excellent while still looking Klingon.
Right.
Again, these are updated designs. They are absolutely different, but similar enough to where they are recognizable. So more hats off to that design team.
Right. And, thanks to these delays, they were able to craft so much of this.
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful, and I think it's delivered well. It's really neat to see a ton of ships, which you'd only seen like a movie maybe. Because, on the other shows, it was like 2-3 ships. Yeah. That was the most you get. DS9, I think, pushed it and had several ships, because they had a war during their run. So, we're at this point waiting for Starfleet to show up to help out, because it's not looking good.
Not looking good.
Michael gets sent to the brig, which is, we've seen characters go there before.
Yeah.
The ship has taken on damage, and she wants to know what's going on. But since she's in the brig, the computer says, we can't tell you this. Right. You're trapped, whatever. Dealt with shell shock. One of the helmsmen gets his...
Oh, yeah.
It's knocked down, and they just tell him to go to sick bay, and he's just lost.
Yeah, he has no idea what's happening.
Yeah.
He's in complete shock.
Right. This whole crew turned from wisecracking, explorers.
Yeah.
He was one of them,
Comfortable crew with each other. And,
Yeah, he was giving Michael... I don't know, giving her crap, just having fun with the whole idea of her traveling in the spacesuit.
Yeah.
Talking about, enjoy your in-flight movie or whatever, So, it was, he was very dazed.
Yeah.
Man, they really go for it in the show because, he got sucked out of the damn ship.
He's done.
Right in front of her.
See ya.
Yeah. So that was interesting, too.
It was interesting, and it shows that, they gave him enough time before that happened to where you're thinking, oh, he might be a major character in the show.
Right.
Well, he's gone. Game of Thrones style. Just see ya.
Well, and I don't watch a lot of... probably haven't really watched any Game of Thrones, but is this very similar?
They're not afraid to kill people.
Yeah.
4, 5, and 6 seasons in.
Yeah.
People die in every single season, and almost every single time it's a surprise.
Wow.
And yet you would never expect it. And that's now... If someone comes in late, they might hear things or read things, but I'm watching it as it's happening, and you watch episodes and you're like, your mouth is dropped to the floor because you're like, oh my God, these people are dead. Are you kidding me? I've invested 4 years in this character.
Yeah.
Dead.
Yeah, like
know?
I like that guy.
Yeah.
Damn
So
it.
I mean, Star Trek Discovery, I don't think they're afraid to push those boundaries either.
No.
And you know what? That's a sign of the times. I mean,
Sure.
it's back in the old days, well, your main characters didn't die, only the red shirts, and I think nowadays that's a little bit different, and it can frustrate viewers, but it also keeps them coming back.
Sure.
What's going to happen next, and
right.
Pretty sweet.
What's interesting is in the second episode, we get to go back 7 years to when Sarek brought Michael aboard, who was very Vulcan at that time.
Uh-huh.
She even had the Vulcan haircut.
Right.
Actually, it was styled in a way that I never really seen a Vulcan haircut, which I liked. I thought
was cool.
Unique and
it was different.
Yeah, and their attire was pretty cool. Sarek had like this high collar shirt thing.
Very stoic and regal. Yeah.
He told her to behave.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, this is kind of like a Vulcan exchange program, I guess?
Something, and she was very Vulcan acting to the captain.
Yes.
So much so that you're like, oh boy, she's going to get in trouble.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. It was very interesting. So she pretty much earned her rank through that exchange program. Yeah. I think she went to the Vulcan Science Academy.
She did.
Something like that. So, yeah, it was really neat to see how important that relationship she had with Michelle Yeoh's character, Captain Giorgio. And, pretty much what she destroyed in that attempt to overpower and take over the ship.
In the first episode, you have this person who's revered as one of the best first officers in all of Starfleet. Obviously, some great command authority, she knows her stuff, and then in the second episode, she's relegated to, being a mutineer. Mm-hmm. She's stuck in the brig. She has really burned some bridges there.
Yeah, it turns on a dime.
Yeah.
Everything's looking great.
Everything's looking awesome, and then poof, what the hell?
They're on that desert planet, and Captain Giorgio is like, I think you're ready to command your own ship.
Ready to be a captain.
It's like, whoa, okay, lots changed.
A lot's changed.
Damn Klingons.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the Klingon, the main guy here, and I don't remember his name.
I don't either. I wish my phone was working.
It's in Klingon, so.
Yeah. I think it's a Chok-Tu.
There you go.
I don't know.
That is, it's not Gawk.
It's not.
Right? Yeah.
No, that's best when served live.
Right. My mistake.
Nerds.
But he's trying so hard to get these houses together. After they show up, they're like, what's going on? And he's explaining, we need to take on the Federation. It's our time.
Yeah.
And I think they put him down because, they see him as beneath them. And he just has to prove himself. And so, his way of attacking the ships and, just the balls to do what he's doing.
Yeah.
He gets them on their side.
Yeah.
And it does help that he has the albino Klingon dude who wants to be the torchbearer, which we didn't talk about, but I think that's who Michael killed on that structure was a torchbearer.
Right.
I'm not really sure. I mean, other than how it sounds, they light a torch and
I think they're almost like a defender type,
like a guard to the structure or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. So that torchbearer, the new one, convinces, helps his
almost
base.
like the guy in Thor.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Idris Elba's character.
Yeah.
What was his name in the movie? Do you remember?
Oh gosh. No, not Land.
I'm going to be really upset because, I love that character.
Yeah.
And when I see the name, I'm like, oh yeah, of course, idiot,
It's like
But again, I'm 900 years.
Yeah.
Himdall.
All right. There we go. Yep.
Whew. Thank you for
we did it. Yeah.
Hey,
it was a group effort because
Well, thanks for listening to the Thor program. Oh,
yeah.
No,
that's next week.
That's next week. Got it. But yeah, I mean, I think I looked at him as almost like that type of a character, though.
Yeah.
Dead.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So,
but the albino really helped also. The main Klingon character helped support that cause and helped him get that allegiance and alliance with everyone else. I mean, he was pretty pivotal in that.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like he, the main guy who was trying to prove himself, he looked like a Klingon,
right?
But the albino Klingon really showed what that character felt like. Mm-hmm. He's different. He was viewed as different,
right?
And
they're all outcasts, and he's the biggest outcast of everyone.
Right.
And he was still going to stick behind him. So,
what'd you think of the Klingon garb?
I honestly thought it was sweet. Mm-hmm. I did like it a lot. And it wasn't your typical black leather, stuff that, you might see Gene Simmons wear on a Kiss concert.
That's right. Platform shoes.
A little bit, but I actually liked the new look of that stuff.
Yeah. Sharp. It's very sharp.
It's sharp.
Literally sharp.
Literally sharp. It's very aggressive in its styling, which I think is obviously meant to be. It's a Klingon,
Yeah.
It's going to be aggressive. And I quite honestly, it reminded me of some of the outfits in Destiny, the video game.
Okay.
That some of the characters will wear.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh God, that looks sweet in real life. I could just picture
Maybe it's the same costume designers.
Who knows?
You never know.
But it was, I thought they were great.
Yeah.
I couldn't get enough of watching the Klingons.
Yeah. I think that's, it really makes them alien-like, this new look. And I do like the new look. I hope they're able to kind of blend it into what we know in the future.
Sure.
Because like I said, I don't want to see Worf look like that.
Right.
It won't be the same.
Well, and he, it's, they're done.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be revisiting that. So it's,
unless there's any timeline episodes, which I know, but.
And you know what?
Yeah.
That didn't even occur to me.
There might be.
Almost every show has done it.
I could see an old Admiral Archer coming on the ship.
Yeah.
With T'Pol.
I think to make something like that more believable, it'd have to be someone from the future going to the past.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if they have that kind of...
They could play with so much.
They could. There's obviously a million things.
Yeah. We have to get to season 2 and 3 to get all that going.
And our favorite time-traveling jerks, the Borg.
Yeah. Right.
Wouldn't that be something?
Oh, man. That would be intense. Very scientific.
But again, there's a million what-ifs you can do.
There is. You just
I like
can't
to
help
focus
it.
on the Klingon War right now. But yeah, if it's successful and it goes on,
right?
Yeah, the door's open.
Yeah.
This season we're following this arc, and depending on reaction will depend on whether we get a second season or not. And I'm hoping it's good enough that we can explore all those cool what-if scenarios.
Well, every Star Trek show's done that.
Yeah.
With old characters, and Spock was on TNG. I could see that happening. Obviously, give them a few seasons to establish who they are.
And Scotty and McCoy.
Yeah.
They were all on there.
Well, yeah, this is 10 years before all that. So, honestly, technically, if you're going by the, because there was a Captain April before.
Pike.
Yes. So, the Enterprise is really out there right now.
And if it should be out there right now. And, a couple years from now or something, you hear, some cadet named Kirk or, whatever. Just,
that would be cool.
Or even McCoy or a Spock, anyone from like that. It'd be fun to just have those threads continue to tie the universe.
Exactly. Yeah,
I don't need to see them.
Not over the top.
Right. But just the references here and there, it's really neat to, it's just neat to have that. And in the Star Trek family, you can do that.
Yeah.
It's a big enough universe.
Well, and CBS has Bakula's number. He is on one of their shows.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Might be cool to have an Admiral Archer on the ship. I don't know.
If he existed.
Make it happen. Bring Tuck back. Kind of ignore that last episode. I'm serious. You can fix all that stuff so quickly. But, of course, getting back to the second show here, Starfleet finally shows up.
Yeah.
It's looking good. And we get to see
the battle.
We get to see a Starfleet, what it's supposed to look like. Yeah, quite a battle. And,
yeah, you have a ton of Starfleet ships versus the Klingons, and it was very large in scope, and it felt big. I don't have a big 90-inch TV; it's like 50 inches, but it just still felt like I was watching something on a movie screen.
Yeah, in space. It really felt.
Yeah,
it's they captured a lot of what the Abrams movies can do with the space battles and travels.
Yeah.
It was really cool when the what's the ship's name again? I keep forgetting. The
Shinzu or something.
Shinzu, yeah. And it's pretty much it's really, it feels like an old ship, and it really acts like an old ship. Like it's failing basically, and Michael is in the brig still, and the containment is getting smaller and smaller. So she's looking at space. Yeah,
outside of that containment field.
Right.
And the containment field is not going to last.
Exactly. And oxygen's running out too, so it's like time to survive somehow, some way. They get into situation where they're heading into an asteroid with no power.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they're rescued by the Admiral. Yeah. His ship finally arrives. Mm-hmm. Big tractor beam.
Oh, yeah.
He comes on the bridge, hologram self again, which is my problem. Hologram sitting still or standing still, fine. He's walking on the bridge.
Right. And again, maybe that was the episode where I thought maybe he was avoiding something as a hologram.
Right.
I'm just like, oh, come on.
Well, he would point to the tacticals or whoever and like hail them.
Right.
And, well, that was the other thing, was like, holy crap, communication within communication, because he was on the bridge, I think, and then he had them open a channel. So then he was talking to the Klingon through two separate, it's like, what the hell? Yeah, but I liked his message to the Klingons where he's very playing it safe and was basically saying, if we're not talking, then we're not
solving.
Yeah, exactly. So you kind of start getting some hope, like, okay, maybe
we can back out of this a little bit and settle down.
Yeah, especially when the main Klingon dude's like, okay, we'll come on over.
Right.
So, the Admiral's like, all right, got this figured out. He's talking to Captain Giorgio, Michelle Yeoh, on the bridge after the communication.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, his hologram starts flickering.
Yeah, they're starting to lose power for some reason.
Yeah. So, the welcome package from the Klingons, they shot a weapon at them and
destroyed him.
Yep.
Admiral Dead Guy.
That's his name.
That should be his name. Yeah.
That's his name. Michael, this is Admiral Dead Guy. Admiral Dead Guy.
Hello. But again, another surprising piece.
Yeah.
The Admiral was in the first two episodes, and you're thinking, oh, he's probably going to be a recurring character, something like that. Yeah. No, he's gone too.
Don't get used to anybody.
Don't get used to anybody at this point. Yeah. Very surprising, and almost another jaw dropper, It's like, holy crap.
What's going on here? Which is another reason why you want the commercial-free version of All Access.
And he probably had the toughest ship too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gone.
They probably lowered their defenses. Right. Like, oh, we're gonna have a little cocktail hour here.
Hey, it's peacetime.
Break out the blue food and the Romulan ale, and we're gonna talk. That was like, oh boy, holy crap. Did you get a sense that him and Michelle Yeoh's character maybe were romantically involved at one point? She mourned. She, like, when he showed up, she kind of had that, like, oh, my boyfriend's here type of vibe. And then when he died, she had a lot of remorse. So
I didn't get that as much as I did, just that they were obviously close.
Yeah.
They may have come up together.
That could have been it too.
I couldn't really sniff out the romantic piece, but you could certainly see that they were close,
right,
in one form or another.
Right.
I just didn't see anything direct that might have led me to that piece of it. But when you say it like that, that could have been as well.
Maybe they had a one-night stand,
something. Who knows? But I mean, they were definitely, obviously close.
Yeah,
as characters,
and it could have just been a mentor thing. She respected him, and he.
Kind of like the Michael and Captain DeGiorgio relationship.
Right.
That one was the other one.
So you just take it however.
Yeah. I got and Admiral Dead Guy were probably pretty close.
Probably because I was just like, oh, male, female.
Right.
Oh. Shows how much I know.
We don't know.
We don't know. No, we don't.
I don't know if we will at this point. But yeah, there you go.
Let's start some fan fiction.
Yep, done.
They're married.
Yeah.
Subaru is their son. I don't know. So the Klingon guy gains more respect by destroying the ship. His ship's very unique. They're dead.
Yeah.
They get thrown into space in these beautiful coffins, and then they're like put on the ship as armor.
It's like they're attached to the ship as armor.
Yeah.
And it's weird looking. It looks like from a distance, it looks like a Klingon warbird, a big one that has like almost a weird growth all over it.
Yeah.
And then the closer you get, I mean, that's what they are.
I guess the idea is they're warriors to the end. Like, they're dead, but their bodies are still defending us.
Yeah.
So that's just the honor. It might be just this guy's way of honoring the dead, because he's not
your typical. Yeah, he wasn't traditional at all.
Kind of made his own rules.
He did.
Yeah.
He didn't play by the rules.
So, they get the gist of what he's gained the respect of, is it 24 houses of Klingons?
Something.
Yeah, something.
It's a couple.
Vast like that. Giorgio, their instinct is just take him out.
Yeah.
They're going to she's going to man a shuttle to the ship in the suicide mission. and which shows, a lot of heroics out of her character.
Right.
And, I think Suru, that's his name, right? Suru? Am I saying it wrong?
Saru or something.
Sorry. I don't know.
Sorry, Saru.
Sorry, Saru. That's like a spin-off sitcom. He's very hesitant to kind of tell her that option because he doesn't want her to, he cares about his captain. I think Michael volunteers, maybe? Or
she finally gets out of her containment field.
Oh, right, of course.
She talks the computer into actually launching her out and through a door, and it was like it had to be very well timed, obviously, but she had to reverse logic the computer because her computer wasn't going to let her out at all.
Right.
And so that was a very interesting scene. I mean, showing that, while she's human and absolutely emotional by the way that she'd done things thus far, she still had that logical approach. Right. And so it was like, her human traits were certainly working against her, but her Vulcan traits helped her survive that piece of it. Mm-hmm. So then, she gets back up there and volunteers, and they both go over. And
she decides, first they beam a bomb, don't they, onto a Klingon, and then the Klingon gets sucked up.
Yeah.
And then the neck of the ship just gets destroyed.
Boom.
Then that's their way in, and their goal is to capture him.
So keep him alive. He's a bargaining chip at that point, and he's not a martyr or a symbol to be used.
Right. Exactly. Of course, in the process, we lose the captain, which was really it was a gut-wrenching death. Spike, it was a spear right to her heart. It was like, damn it.
It was heartbreaking, too, because, I love the actress, and I just think she's so good and talented, and I
sensed something was happening with her, though. It's like, I don't know if we're going to see her much.
Yeah, and so I started thinking, well, if we're getting big movie names, my guess is I'll die in an episode or two,
Tom Cruise is the Admiral. Dead guy.
Yeah, he got in a fight with the Warlord Xenu, and I think lost that one. So
that was 10 years before this.
Right, yeah.
A lot of history.
Yeah, a lot of history there.
Yeah. But what sucked is Michael was so close to detaining that guy, that Klingon, with her weapon. She just didn't get to it in time. Yeah. And she ended up killing him, right?
Yeah. She killed him right after he killed her.
Right.
So that was her way of like, I can't let that go.
She runs over to the captain. Suru can't beam her up because there's no life signs. Was it like that before? I thought they could always beam up somebody. Did they have to be alive? Like objects. You can beam up objects, right?
You can beam up objects. So I don't know where that exactly came from.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was because of the interference like in that asteroid area and they just couldn't grab it well enough. I'm not sure, but that was a question I had too.
But that was heartbreaking, She got beamed away. It's like Spock in the Star Trek 09 movie, and lost his mom, and she just starts weeping on the transporter.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just it's really a dark end,
Very dark.
You're hopeful, and that she could change things up, make them, like they were. I think there was still that disappointment Captain Giorgio had with her, which probably further made her feel guilty of what happened, and then we end up with a court martial. Which is like, whoa, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, after all those events, we fast forward, and she's there at the tribunal, and poof, you're stripped of your rank. And I
like how they kept it dark with the judges. That was kind of cool.
Welcome to prison.
Yeah.
And that's we end the second episode with her basically stripped of rank and about ready to go serve time.
Is that the first time we've seen like a Starfleet prison system, or did Tom Paris have that experience?
He had that experience, and so I mean, they've always made a lot of references to, like a penal type system where, people were working, mining, what have you. But Tom Paris, I think, was one of the first bigger examples of that.
Because it's like I don't think we've gotten enough of that to really know, like, oh crap, there's Starfleet jail.
Yeah, what's that system look like? And
Yeah, because she got a life sentence, and we pick up with the third episode.
Yeah, and so we learn a little bit more about that. I mean, she's on a shuttle with other prisoners, and she's wearing a different color outfit.
Yeah.
Than the standard prison stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that to me was just like, is this a way to just differentiate that she's one of the main characters? I would have liked to have seen her maybe in the gray, because like everyone else was.
Right.
You know? So, I mean, it didn't bother me, but it was just kind of one of those things that I noticed.
Well, it was, she still had she had a Starfleet pin on too, I think, right? Could be wrong, but
I think they all did.
Yeah.
Because of the nature of their work and all that. But, yeah, they recognized her. They knew she was the mutineer. I mean, she's, this is 6 months later, if I recall.
Yeah.
And so her reputation precedes her, I mean, she's a celebrity in the holy crap, you're a bad personville, and she's the mayor.
Yeah, and I think she's ready to carry out her sentence, and I think she just feels like not suicidal, but she's just ready to accept whatever punishment comes her way.
Yeah, to her, she deserves the punishment. Right. I mean, when the person made a reference, man, you killed over 8,000 people. And she said 8,167 or whatever the number was.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And her acting was so good that you can tell this is something that just is eating at her horribly.
Right.
But she's ready to accept it. That Vulcan in her is like, well, logically, this is my path.
Exactly.
And I've built that bridge for myself to cross.
Right. And this episode is called Context is for Kings.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was called before. Yeah. But it was very unique how it started with, all that dialogue in the shuttle. They're at warp in the shuttle, which I didn't know shuttles could warp back then, but maybe they could. I don't know. I mean, the original shuttle from...
I didn't recall them being able to warp, but that's fine.
It's kind of like you got to stretch it a little bit.
Sure.
Advanced technology, maybe they had to hold off, like, it's too fast.
Right.
But it was cool how, they were traveling, and... all of a sudden these like insect things coming on.
Space bugs.
Yeah, I'm like, this is totally new. Wouldn't you just shrug it off if you're and
it was cool looking.
On?
Yeah. They they're attracted to the energy and stuff of a ship, and they cling on to it until it's Klingon. Like
that's pretty good.
They hang on to that ship until they suck all of its energy off, then it drifts, and then they go do whatever else they want to do.
And then the pilot of the shuttle had to go out like an exterminator. Cable gets snipped and she just starts flying. Autopilot's failing. Yeah. They're freaking out, trying to bust out of the cuffs. And Michael's just sitting there like, I'm ready.
Very stoic.
Yeah.
Just, I'm going to accept whatever happens here.
Yeah.
Because whatever happens, I've deserved this fate.
What else could go wrong? I mean, everything's just gone to shit.
Yeah, who cares?
And then we get that tractor beam and that gorgeous shot
of the Discovery.
Oh my God. Yeah. Through the cockpit window, like, it's beautiful. And man, that is that was so exciting because we got to see the Discovery before, but I knew episode 3 was going to show so much of it, and man, it
did.
Yeah.
I'm sold on it, that's for sure.
That sweet. Oh man, that transition to the shuttle dock.
Yeah, the shuttle bay. Yeah,
shuttle bay. I was going to say dry dock. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell? No, but the shuttle bay. Man, what a great transition. Yeah. And it makes you feel like this is a functioning ship because it takes you outside of the ship and you go through the saucer area because the saucer's designed, it's got like a space.
Right.
And man, it's just a beautiful ship. They really, I mean, going clear back to the concept they had, which I thought was great. They've really...
it's
streamlined this
They
sucker.
did streamline it a lot.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's very cool. A great shot right before the credits of it just hovering over the storm.
Yeah.
So then we get onto the ship and, it's very, they refer to the prisoners as trash and it's kind of like, is this what Starfleet's supposed to be? But
it's early Starfleet,
True.
I mean, Kirk wasn't near as refined as Picard and, all that stuff. So this is before Kirk.
Right.
So, they're looking at them like, hey.
Well, and there was assholes in TOS too,
trash, mutineer. They just, these prisoners were secondhand citizens and there was no question about it.
And to be honest, Starfleet, how Roddenberry imagined everything, it would be extremely boring if everyone was super nice and we really had this utopia.
Right.
Which, you can have that still, but there's always going to be conflict. I think that's what this show is really bringing is conflict.
It's about building towards utopia.
Right. Trying to maintain any, So there's conflict with other people, Michael sits down with the prisoners and the cafeteria, whatever you want to call it, eating quarters,
mess hall.
Mess hall. There you go. Yeah, straight up shows off some Vulcan martial arts because the one prisoner chick, she's like, no, actually the dude, he's like, let's make it 8,000.
He adds one number to the total,
and then he totally misses her. And she just beats
goes
the crap out of them. And that one big guy, I don't think he ever laid a hand. I don't even know if he had plans to do anything.
Yeah.
He was just cradled in the corner like, I come in peace, and took that tray and just
She took care of him, too.
Yeah. Grabbed her head. Boom.
Right.
Oh, my gosh. And then right off the bat, the main security lady who briefed them points her phaser at her. Says, Captain wants you. Yeah. And it's like, was that a test? Just I almost felt like the whole pilot getting snipped off the shuttle was a test. It felt like a simulation or something.
Yeah, it did. It felt
don't know if that was the case because this ship is full of mystery,
right?
And especially its captain. What were your thoughts on the captain of the ship?
I liked him. He wasn't too snarky, but he still has you can tell he's got a personality where he's a captain for a reason. He carries himself like a captain.
Yes.
And I didn't know who the captain was. Going into the show, I didn't look at the casting. I didn't look at any of that stuff. And I thought he was cool. And he obviously wasn't telling her everything. You could tell that.
Right.
She could tell that.
Yeah.
And it was just, it was an interesting introduction to him.
Yeah. Captain Gabriel Lorca, I think that's his name.
Yeah, something.
Played by Jason Isaacs, who's Harry Potter fame.
Right.
Played, what's his face's dad? I don't call to you. Draco Mal.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah, he was, he's in the Harry Potter films, and he played Lucas Malfoy, which was, that little shit's dad.
Yeah. Little blonde guy.
Draco, whatever. Yeah. But he's been in lots of movies, The Patriot, and things like that. I mean, he's been
around a long time.
He has. So
he's got some chops.
It was really cool to have him cast. And yeah, his captain character is very, warrior-like, not warrior-like, warlike, right?
Yeah, he's very, very military as opposed to explorer.
Yeah.
He definitely knows that, he expresses that, hey, we're at war, and he expects people to take that seriously. Mm-hmm. And he's not going to tolerate anything less than that. Yeah. And I think going back to the cafeteria scene or the mess hall scene, mm-hmm. I thought it was it's just more good build up for Michael as a character. She walks in, she sees someone she knows. She greets them by name.
That's right.
Just ignores her and walks on, and everyone's looking at her like, I
forgot
you're
to
such
mention
a traitor and all that stuff. And so then she sits down and the fight commences and stuff.
Well, and that person she noticed from the Shinzu.
Yeah.
She had
like an implant.
Yeah. Like
in a scars and
that whole battle. Yeah.
So and everyone blames her for that.
Yeah.
So it was powerful to watch her have to walk in there.
Exactly.
And encounter, that kind of look and the judgment and the stares and it was pretty cool.
Well, and before she meets the captain, she gets up to the bridge, which is a beautiful bridge.
Yeah.
Who's in the captain's chair?
Our boy.
Saru.
Yeah.
Who's now first officer.
He's now first officer, and
they switched ranks.
Yeah. Yeah, he took her job. Take my job.
Yep.
South Park. But and so he was there. So it's great to see that he's still going to be around.
Yeah.
Obviously, and she goes to see the captain, goes through the whole thing, why am I here? And he's going to put her to work. There's no freeloaders on the ship. You're gonna work.
You something.
Yeah, you're gonna have something to do.
Yeah.
While you're here.
I like the fortune cookies he offered her.
Yeah, she wouldn't take it.
He said it was a family business 100 years ago. He's like, oh, it's making a comeback now.
Yeah, so
I was like, that's neat. And they looked very, very good.
Yeah, they did. I always thought that if you just crumbled them up and put them in a bowl of milk, there'd probably be some really good cereal.
It'd be dangerous.
But I've never done that. I've talked about that for years.
You need to get on that fortune cookie cereal.
Fortune cookie cereal.
There you go. Put some marshmallows with it.
Yeah,
might work.
Oh, man.
But he's a collector.
Yeah.
He's got a skeleton of a Gorn.
Uh-huh.
Tribbles. You can hear them purring or whatever they do. There's a lot of cool nods to what we've seen before. And he's a very serious guy, but he's also kind of laid back. He has like a unique problem with his eyes, which I'm sure they'll get into it more, but he said, excuse the lighting. It's, it's dark in his quarters and it has to gradually get lighter for his eyes to adjust.
He has to have a transition.
Yeah.
That bothered me a little bit.
Did it?
And the only reason it did is because they didn't really revisit it later on.
Right.
He'd go from one room to the next.
That's right. Yeah.
And then, when you're on a view screen and you get a flash of light or something, is your captain incapacitated?
Yeah.
If you want to give him some sort of, hey, he's got something going on type thing, I would have maybe picked something different. So again, maybe they'll explain it better in the future. Hopefully. I don't know. I'm not going to write it off as just being dumb, but I was just starting to think about that, as I was watching it.
It's more of a way to introduce him all mysterious, like he even said, like makes me more mysterious.
Right.
And it was a nice reveal, and I liked his quirks he had, and he's like, no? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get to business. And he's like, here we go.
He tried to ease into that conversation, and she wasn't having it.
No, yeah. So. She's so good at, she's a great actress. Yeah. She's so good at balancing that. Like, sometimes she's a Vulcan, and then you're like, she's a human. Obviously, physically, she's not a Vulcan, but she has those mannerisms down, and she's really able to teeter-totter those two, separate ways of living. And she's conflicted. That's probably, how she got into her predicament. She's just kind of, I don't know, out of control. I don't know if you would say that.
She's not ready to be a captain, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah. Well, I never know. They could falsify records or something.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, that's where after the second episode, I was very unsure about her as how I felt about her as a character.
Right.
It's
not a happy ending.
It wasn't a happy ending, and I don't care about happy endings as much, but I just thought, well, if she's going to be our protagonist, she's going to have to do a lot of work. Mm-hmm. And I think this episode started to set that up.
Earn back the respect. Yeah. And she definitely, she's very curious. She suspects a lot on the ship, and she gets assigned, quarters.
Yep.
And this is where we meet her roommate, Tilly, she's got quite a personality.
She sure does.
Yeah. I like how she, says she talks a lot when she's,
nervous.
She, didn't want to tell Michael, but she was in her spot, her side of the room.
Yeah.
And then she kind of played with his name, her name, Michael.
That's where, they had that fun with it. I've never met a girl named Michael before.
How about I call you Mickey or something? Yeah. And she's like, how about you not?
Right, yeah. No.
That was a really cool character. Really got a lot of quirks to it.
Yeah.
It also shows that, not everyone in the future lines up with each other,
Right.
She's
not everyone's all stoic and officer-like,
Exactly.
She's a normal person.
Right.
She's just a cadet, and she has high hopes for herself, but, she also realizes that she's got, kind of a development issue.
Right.
And her special needs. She even referred to that.
Right.
And so I thought that was very interesting.
Which is like a first, really. I mean, they're really tackling so much in this show. I think they're really trying to invite all walks of life to see it. And, she's like allergic to all these materials. Yeah. She's very, very sensitive to all that.
Yeah, and she's certainly, and it's not that she has a learning disability or anything like that. I mean, she's obviously smart, but, she has a almost a social disorder to a degree. And so it was just interesting to kind of watch how that fleshed itself out.
Right. I mean, she looks human. She could be another species. We don't know.
We don't know. But she...
never know.
Pitting her with our angry human/Vulcan.
Yeah.
It was just...
exactly.
I thought the playoff of that was fun.
That was really cool. And then, Michael gets assigned... I think she gets assigned to engineering or the science division of the ship.
Yep.
Meets the doctor in charge, played by I think Anthony Rapp. He comes off as a dick to me.
Yeah, total.
I'm like, dude, take it down a notch. I think his acting was pretty good. It was kind of chopping parts. I'm sure they're still trying to get their characters down. But he is a good actor. He is, and he really you really felt more on his side, I guess, or you understood him more as the show went on.
Right, because at first I wanted to see him in an airlock, which But I'll tell you what, though, that's a testament to the actor.
Right.
You know, because he did his job in making you think that, oh, boy, this guy's a douchebag. You know, but, his big scene where he kind of discussed his motivations and how he came to be, that answered a lot of questions for me, for him.
Right.
Yeah, I looked at him a little bit differently after that.
Yeah, this whole show is a ripple effect of what... maybe that's why the first 2 episodes, even though they're like a prologue, they had to be, given to us that way, because it really starts a whole ripple effect. Right. So there's a lot of mystery going on. He's got these particles on his shoulder. He brushes off when he meets her, and she's like,
"What the heck is that?" Yeah.
So she does some really unique investigating, very smart. She gets Tilly's because you have to have this door, this hatch that he came from. It's like it's like a breathalyzer type of security
so instead
system.
of like a optic thing where you do an eye thing up there, you blow into it, and it's like a breath analysis or breath identification. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Reading traces of Banaka.
Yeah,
she gathers Tilly's drool, which is kind of gross, but she was even grossed out by it, but she was desperate.
Yeah.
And then she got some kind of aerator thing.
Yeah, just some sort of aerosol type, that maybe just pushes air out, and
just shot it onto it
using her using Tilly's stuff, and poof, got access.
Yeah, and it's like a whole garden, or they're growing these bugs, right?
Right, they're growing these bugs, and it's there's a lot of green, some trees, brushes, that sort of thing, and it looks like kind of a haven for these space bugs,
right?
And so she kind of leaves there, and the impression that they're weaponizing something biological, and she was obviously very concerned.
The doctor, played by Anthony Rapp, he is contacting his friend, who's another scientist.
Right.
They're on the USS Glenn, which is a sister ship to the Discovery. So they're about ready to test their new warp drive, I guess, with these bugs, which later on we get more
detail around. Yeah.
We find out that the USS Glenn had a terrible accident. Everyone died. They decide to get an away team together, and Michael joins them. They get to the Glen. We get to see the
captain directed that Michael joins them.
Yeah, that's true.
And no one wanted Michael to go.
He asks Saru, what do you think?
Yeah.
Mutiny aside, she's the
best smartest officer, or whatever that he's ever encountered in Starfleet. Right. And so, he told her earlier in the show about how he was disappointed, and
finds her dangerous,
and she is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She legitimately is dangerous. You can't. That's not how you do things in Starfleet. The way she did it in episode 1 and 2, and she may have been one of the best first officers, but she was not ready for that stuff.
No.
So his signing off on her, so to speak.
Yeah.
Meant volumes, I think, to the captain.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
away
team.
Yeah. He had such a powerful statement to her when they first met up again, and he was saying he's going to do a better job protecting his captain than she did.
Yes.
So, he's really...
he's not letting her off the hook.
No. He can stand up to her more than
he's being cordial, and all that stuff. Gives her a blueberry,
that was a really cool scene.
It was
casual, eating blueberries, and
you can tell they had a relationship, and they still have a respect for each other. But he still wasn't letting her off the hook through his words, and which made me like the character more.
Mm-hmm.
It was just really cool.
So we get the away mission going there with traveling to the Glen, and then we get more details about the doctor, the scientist, whose friend just passed away in the USS Glenn.
Yeah.
Basically saying that he and his friend were...
They're scientists. They're not Starfleet.
Mm-hmm.
Starfleet basically took them and forced them to do their research for Starfleet.
Separated
and then separated them so they could do it faster. And so, a lot of his anger comes from, that's not how their vision looked.
Mm-hmm.
And, this wasn't supposed to be a Starfleet thing. And, he's looking for truth and things in the universe, and Starfleet's looking for technology, and they're looking for, so
yeah.
I started to feel some of his anger a little bit, after that speech. It was very well delivered.
It's like, wow, it's really all on her. She started this. It was going to start either way.
It was.
But yeah, she says her intentions weren't to stay on the ship. She just wants to serve her time. And he, said that, well, if the captain wants you on the ship or, put you to work, like, he wants you for more than, just what you want to do. So yeah, they get to the Glen and, they land the shuttle inside, which looks really great.
Yeah.
I mean, man, it was really, again, movie quality effects.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much. And then we get kind of like a horror movie.
We do. It's like, it reminded me of, what's that show?
Walking Dead? Or...
No, it was a space show. I don't remember.
Doom?
No, it was
show.
It was a movie, and Sam Neill was in it.
Oh yeah, Event Horizon.
Yeah,
okay.
It had a little bit of a vibe of that going on for a little bit.
Stuff. Yeah, I get that.
And before that happened, one little detail I liked was just the commander told the pilot, "You stay with the ship."
Yeah.
Just that little tiny little detail.
Yeah.
Knows that, she knows her stuff enough to know that they may need a hasty retreat. And so, we're not going to leave the shuttle by itself. And, I just those little tiny touches and details to me, I think it makes a lot. But yeah, they come across all these bodies that were just completely disfigured and
like twisted
and malformed. And, everyone was dead. Found a Klingon blade.
Yep.
Saw some dead Klingons, and then poof, we hear something.
Yeah, and they examine the bodies to determine, what was done with the technology versus...
Was there a correlation there?
Right.
And they did find one.
Mm-hmm. And then, you hear something.
Yeah.
And then we stumble upon a door that can't shut.
Yeah.
Because there's a...
leg.
God.
Just the bottom half of a leg.
Yeah.
Keeping that shuttle or keeping that door from shutting, like an elevator, not being able to shut and stopping on a leg, But then poof, we see this Klingon appear, and it was just so random and weird. And he's like, "Shh." Poof, creature.
Yeah,
Klingon dead.
Well, until
everyone's running.
Tilly was just bringing it. She's like, "You in the shadows, get out." Like, she wasn't like scared or anything.
No, yeah.
I mean, she probably was, but yeah, it was funny when he shushed her.
Yeah.
Michael goes, "Did he just shush you?" And then he got taken away.
And then poof, he's dead.
That was, yeah. And then this creature's like, a lot of mystery with this creature, and we're going to see more of it. I know we are. But it looked like it had some kind of like electrical workings inside, organic.
It was very unique.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I liked it. I'm like, this is just, it's very cool looking.
Yeah.
So
and they still have to get the data because that's why they had to go to the Glen in the first place because this data is
try and recover
it's protected by a shield for some reason.
Yeah.
So they find some weird looking equipment. The scientist tells them to grab it and they collect all the data. Meanwhile, the creature's trying to break into where they're at, and I loved when Michael went up to access the doors to get out of there, and it was jammed.
Yeah.
And then the security officer said, "Hold on" or something, and she just
started zapping it.
Yeah,
trying to fry it.
That was really cool.
Yeah,
she's ballsy. And,
I like her character a lot.
Yeah. And then, Michael gets down there and it's like, "Give me a phaser." And they're like, "We don't give him the mutineers."
Yeah, because there's not going to be enough time for her to burn that door open before that thing gets in there.
She's like, "I'm not trying to kill him. I'm just trying to piss it off." And then she shoots it a few times.
Yeah, they give her a phaser and shoots it. And it worked.
Yeah.
That's what she said or something. Yeah.
Shit, that worked.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this is streaming. This is, we can say shit.
Yeah.
Awesome. I like it."
Yeah.
Because before she decided to do that, she's like, "Well, these ships are the same, right?" Mm-hmm. And she could figure out where the
Jeffrey's tube.
Yes, exactly. And then she started reciting Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Which was really cool, I thought.
Yeah.
A very unique touch there. And so,
she provides a distraction enough for the team to get out and get to the shuttle while this creature went after her. So she is the one who was willing to sacrifice herself so that crew could get out of there.
It was terrifying.
And it wasn't that she wanted to sacrifice, because she was trying to escape still.
No, she's still trying, yeah.
But she knew that was the risk.
Yeah.
And very well done on her part.
And they locate her, and then she drops down just in time out of the tube, and the creature's like right there.
Yeah, she told him to keep the top hatch open so she could just drop in. She did. Go.
Does an awesome plant, and she just looks up.
The superhero landing almost.
It was great. Yeah. I mean, that's...
and they escaped.
Yeah. I think, hey, I'm all for track having action like that, and, as long as it's still got a story to it, it's not just stupid popcorn.
Yeah, it wasn't just all action for that show. There was a good blend in episode really 3 in particular of character development and action.
Right.
And in a lot of those action scenes, there was character development happening at the same time. That's something that doesn't always happen in action scenes.
Right.
And in this one, it worked.
And it just brought a whole new format to the show. The first 2 episodes are pretty concrete, with what happened. Lots more questions arose from the show, lots of mystery. In the end, they get back to the ship, and the captain offers her a position, and she doesn't want to take it.
She says, nope, hit the bricks.
Yeah, so he convinces her by telling her finally, because she thinks he's making a weapon.
Right, and she doesn't want to be a part of that. She's already killed people.
Right.
She doesn't want to kill anybody else, or at least be responsible for something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you're right. Yeah, he shows her what they're actually working on.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get my brain wrapped around it.
These things are supposed to be able to enhance their warp and to be able to, take people to different parts of the galaxies in almost blinks of an eye, and so he puts her in this room and shows different places, Romulus, which was cool.
Yeah.
Andoria, pretty cool stuff, and so she was then convinced that, this isn't a weapon, and
she takes the fortune cookie.
Takes the fortune cookie. And here we are.
It's like these bugs are like a web throughout space and
of energy, and it's just, and they're trying to convert that, and
and it's very dangerous because we saw what happened with the Glenn. That scientist's friend, the other scientist, his whole face was twisted.
Yeah, and his ribs were hanging out of his back. I mean, you see that?
Yeah,
that was...
It's terrifying.
Gross.
But yeah, hopefully they'll work out the kinks. They'll have to.
They'll have to, otherwise
that'll be a big
short
shock.
Series. Yeah.
It's like, this whole cast are gone. But yeah, they have these, what do they call them? Black alerts or whatever?
Black alerts, yeah.
And do you think that's so the bugs can kind of coat the ship in themselves and then disappear? Kind of like...
Well, yeah, and I don't know if it was just that they were having to contain that or something, because the way I read it, looking at it, was... They did the black alert, power was down almost. Mm-hmm. And with no power, they lose their juice. They turned to water and disappeared.
Oh, so they were killing them off. The ones that maybe escaped
and it wasn't right. Yeah.
That makes sense, because I didn't know what that meant.
That's how I looked at it. I mean, I'm sure that we're going to get more of that.
I didn't know if like the ship couldn't do that, couldn't warp with them unless it was all engulfed at one point, like these certain moments. So that makes sense. So because they evaporated. So... That's probably what they were doing. They just got out of the area and
Tiger got loose.
Yeah, really, really. Yeah, no kidding. So that I think pretty much leads us to the end of the show. Yeah. Although it does reveal a new guest on the ship. That I was like, what's going on? Why would we do this?
Yeah.
The captain loves to collect things.
Yeah, he likes pets.
Yeah.
So we got a new puppy on the ship.
Here, kitty.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
The same monster that was chasing him on the Glen. So, we're going to, according to the preview, I think that's going to play a central figure in the next episode.
It is. It sure is. And then, we get to see the Discovery warp, which was really cool. I'm ready for more.
I know, me too. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Like you said, 12 years. To the point where I was convinced we probably wouldn't have one for a long, long time, if ever again. Mm-hmm. Who knows? But here we are, and 3 episodes in. Like I said, I did enjoy the first 2 immensely. Mm-hmm. And of course, visually, I couldn't have been happier with the show. But, with the decisions Michael makes as a character, and, I'm thinking, boy, she's almost too much of a rogue. Mm-hmm. But her penance and her acceptance of the fact that she just did complete wrong, and then starts to kind of make some of those amends. We'll see if she's still like that in the future. But it was this is the show. The third episode is what just sold me as like, all right, let's just bring it. This is awesome. So again, I'm hoping it gets enough viewers because this will be an expensive mistake.
Yeah, and we could suffer from it.
And if a mistake this expensive happens,
it's like, thanks for choosing this show.
When's our next Star Trek?
Right.
Probably not in my lifetime. Well, because I'm 93.
My money would be on Netflix for a backup, and I hope there is a contingent plan. Cause,
hopefully, yeah.
I mean, look, I really think All Access is worth the money.
Yep.
Even though I pretty much just got it for the show, but there's a lot on there. And
I was happily surprised when I was browsing through it because before I even watched the first episode, I just kind of poked around a little bit, and it was pretty sweet.
And you can watch these episodes anytime you want.
Yeah.
And like I said, After Trek. Really good show.
Yeah,
dives into what
I'm going to watch the first one tonight.
Yeah, it's really good. It comes on live after the initial debut of the recent episode, and then after that it goes into storage. So you can watch
they keep it there. Yeah, so
yeah, it's really cool, and I'm digging the show. The third episode really helps kick it in, I think.
Right.
I hope they have a good layout. I think they do because they delayed it long enough, to raise all these mysteries. I hope there's a good payoff. It's not just kind of like, oh, that's all
with the
there
delays, they had time to tweak whatever they wanted to tweak. So I'm hoping that we get that level of quality because of at least give us something from the delay,
right?
So hopefully it's good quality, and so far it is.
Right, and we got an introduction to Spock in a way. That was one scene we didn't talk about, but. When Michael decided to stay, she was talking with Tilly, and Tilly noticed there was a book Michael had. It was Alice in Wonderland, and she said her foster mom used to read it to her. And Tilly's like, "Oh, what was her name?" And she goes, "Amanda."
Yeah.
So there was a lot of cool Easter eggs there, and she said that they were both the only humans, I guess, on Vulcan, or maybe in their area, so they could relate to that story. And she used to read it to her and her son, which I'm like, oh my God,
that's Spock. Yep.
And Spock later on in the movies quoted Shakespeare literature itself. Oh, yeah. So I really like that Easter egg, and I think that's what they were doing with her quoting Alice in Wonderland. That was just, it was very unique. So the writing seems to be very smart. It's produced well. It doesn't feel like it's really trying,
Yeah. Nothing felt forced.
No.
You watch a new show sometimes, and sometimes it takes a few episodes just to kind of get rolling, But as far as the cast goes and the look and the feel, I mean, they hit the ground running.
Yeah, they did.
I didn't have to wait for the third episode for her to start acting like a different character. You know, I mean, she's the same, and she's very consistent and very high quality. I mean, honestly, it's better than what I thought we were going to get.
Yeah.
And I wasn't scared. I mean, I knew we'd get something cool, but dang.
Yeah, and I think with this show being serialized, you have to explore these concepts you introduce, whereas in the other shows, a lot of concepts are introduced with characters, but they're kind of, some are touched on again and some are not. They're kind of swept under the rug,
Or they're not touched on again for a long time.
Right.
And what was Quark's brother's name? Nog.
Yeah.
It's been 29 episodes. Let's do another Nog one. So I mean, it's just stuff that you could put off, do, and whatever. And on this one, they're gonna have to keep advancing. Which is cool.
Which is good. It makes them stick to what they created. Little spoiler here: Michelle Yeoh. I think we'll see more of her somehow, some way.
Oh,
because if you
maybe
go to
flashback type sequence.
I'm guessing, unless IMDb's got it wrong, and they could, but she's listed as 14 episodes.
They're not wrong too often.
Yeah, so I don't know, because she was left on that ship.
Yeah,
so we don't know if
that's true.
I don't know.
And it was a very quick look at that quote unquote death.
And her skills in real life, maybe she's going to be like a winter soldier to the Klingons.
You got me thinking now.
It's possible.
Darn it, Josh.
But that's what I like about this. They set up the whole season 15 episodes. I mean, they're still filming, but we got 15 set episodes.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm fine with that. I'm even fine with fewer episodes as long as it works good.
As long as it's quality and it continues.
Yeah, because I think how things are now, I think we need to adapt programming to be that way. You don't have all that time for 20 episodes and all this and that. And
yeah, and my biggest complaint of the entire thing, and it's something that legit just ticks me off, is that with the crap on network TV today, why isn't this on network TV?
Yeah.
I don't mind paying for All Access at all.
Right.
I enjoy the service, but I mean, there is so much on TV that is insanely inferior to what we've seen in 3 episodes. So, is it part of the business model to drive? That's a risk.
Yeah, it is.
And you have it's an easier bet to do it on the network itself. So hopefully CBS has their eye on the right prize, and
hope so.
And we'll see.
Literally, right?
You're right. The eye, but
I mean, it's nice they have faith in Star Trek, but I hope they don't also have, we can just use that for a platform, excuse, it failed because of that. They weren't good enough. But when you have, at one time they had 3-4 CSI shows. Like, I think we could have a little Star Trek. It'd be nice. It hasn't been since the 60s since it's been on network television.
Yeah, I mean, when they started coming out with CSI Bismarck, I think that was enough. CSI Bismarck in North Dakota.
He was wearing clogs.
Yeah, right. It's really cold.
Pastry.
Right.
Yeah.
Cue the Who. Yeah.
And I could be wrong. I don't know all the details, but I think after a few episodes are aired on All Access, CBS may air those like one special occasion.
Oh.
So, yeah, I don't mind. Like you said, I don't mind paying for the All Access. I mean, I like commercial free. That's great.
Yeah.
It just sucks that a lot of people probably won't be able to see the show. And maybe they, it actually became a high pirated show.
Oh, well, that's a good sign.
And if you have relatives overseas, you may be able to get their Netflix access.
Right.
I'm not saying you should do that, but,
but if you did,
I want you to see it.
I want it out there. I mean, no kidding, because it is high quality. I mean, as much as I do love Star Trek, I mean, I had some criticisms of what we've already seen.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to be as objective as I can. I mean, I'm already predisposed to love Star Trek, but yeah. I mean, if it's not quality, I'm going to talk about it. It's not being quality, but so far
I'm enjoying it.
Oh man, it's great.
I want it to keep going, keep the intrigue going. I don't want it to, and I think that's, hopefully with these 15 episodes, you're not going to get a lot of, filter episodes, or filler episodes. I mean,
right. In just seeing the previews for the next episode, it's like, oh geez, more.
It's very action packed.
Yeah.
It's, like they're rescuing people, and I'm liking it. They brought the holograms back, which, I like, but again, I'm like, I don't know if we need holograms, but okay, whatever. If you want to, I mean, that's probably expensive to do. So if they have to cut anything,
right,
let's cut that. Let's get the view screens back on. And,
right.
I'm loving it. And I hope everyone out there loves it too. And go get All Access or find a friend. You know what? Pair up with somebody.
Yeah.
Split the bill. It's worth it. And come back and listen to our show.
Yeah.
We're going to geek out again about this.
Yeah. So, next week.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
just to plug our other show, Field of Geeks podcast. We can be reached on all social media, Podbean, YouTube, iTunes, fieldofgeeks.com. Steve's got a great comic blog, which I think you may have a review on some of these shows.
Yeah. I started on the first 2, and I'll do a recap of the third and pump it out there, and probably try to do one a week on it.
Excellent.
But,
excellent. That's stevescomicblog.com.
Yep. I'm also reviewing the latest issue of Detective Comics, The Return of Tim Drake.
Ooh, very good. Awesome.
So I'm very excited about
good times we live in.
Yeah, well, he's one of my favorite characters. So
that's great. That's great. Well, thanks for listening, everyone, and join us again. We'll be back next week. I'm Josh.
I'm Steve.
Live long and prosper.